We've talked a lot at our church about Unreached People Group, and there are millions of unreached orphans in our world who need Jesus, and we have the opportunity to share him with one of them.
Create in me a clean heart.
I have not found any more of an authentic way of discipling than being a parent, and to live with people who happen to be little every single day, teaching, modeling, growing in their relationship with Jesus, that is just a humongous piece of adoption, that these children who likely would die at a young age or be on the streets or be destitute or whatever, the most destitute piece of that is that they likely wouldn't know Jesus.
Lord, have mercy. We will run to you. We will run to you.
Hi, we're Paul and Lisa Andrzejewski and Ella and Emily, and we have spent most of our lives here in the Portland, Vancouver area. Went to school at George Fox locally, and I guess it was about 6 years ago where God really began to place in our heart really an idea. That's right, it was right when you were born. I guess it was a little over 6 years ago. Just an idea for adoption and orphan care, and that really started for us just by going to an adoption seminar with some friends. We are currently in the process of adopting from Ethiopia, and we are just about finished with our home study, and then the next steps from there will be to be put on our waiting list for a child from Ethiopia. And that process will take a couple more years before it's finished, and from there we are just thrilled to be able to bring home our child.
We just knew after seeing a couple share their testimony about adoption that it was something that we just had to do. God just used that example of that family to show us that it's not just a certain type of couple or a certain type of family that can obey God with his biblical mandates to care for the widows and orphans, that we since we have kids of our own, that we can just continue on in this role as parents, that we absolutely should be adopting, and for us that meant adopting internationally.
We should care for orphans first and foremost because God has asked us to, and it's very clear in James, I believe, where that is just called out for us to care for the orphans and the widows. And then throughout the story of the Bible, as we look at ourselves and we look at how God and Jesus have adopted us as Christians into his family, God calls us to go out and live our lives like Jesus did. And if we have been given that amazing blessing, then it's so clear for us that is a blessing that we need to share with others. And there's so many kids in need that don't have that family, and for us that is the way that we can really live out our faith.
I think one of the ways that people can pray for us is just patience and endurance through this process, because the dossier process is lengthy and has a lot of technical things that need to be done, and then the 2-year wait, which is really long. But a huge thing that is heavy on our hearts is our girls, and how bringing in an orphan who has had little to no care for their first 18 months of their life in be it nutritional, be it physical, emotional, they are going to enter in with extremely high needs. And even a fully healthy, not classified as special needs child is going to have a lot of special needs. And so just as we go about bringing that child into our home and loving them well, we really want to do a good job of that with our girls, and just showing them and teaching them how to demonstrate Jesus' love in the midst of this hard thing, and making sure that they know their value.
I think additionally, just praying for our child as they are growing up, potentially right now, halfway across the world, in who knows what sort of circumstances. So just continuing to pray for them in their development and their safety, and while they're in the care of all moms and all God's children, that they would just feel loved, and that they would, even at this age, begin to be fostering a relationship with Christ. And I know that it's such a part of who they are and what they do at Hannah's Hope there, and that would begin to just take hold already, that God would be watching out for them and be just growing inside of them, even at this age.
Well, and likely our child right now is not even born. And so we have been praying a lot for our child's birth mother and the circumstances that she is experiencing, because her life is not easy. We know that. And even though we don't know her, but just because of the fact that her child that she is carrying will be given up for adoption, whether because she will die or because of poverty or because of any of the other reasons that people have to give up children, we are just praying for her and for her family that God would be near to her, and that she would just know Jesus, and that there would, I don't want to get all crazy crying, but that there would be just such a sweet reunion in heaven for our child and their birth mother. It would be so amazing if Harvest just had a culture of caring for orphans and fostering children who are in a hard place, and adopting, and all of these things, where it's just a piece of who we are as believers, and a real way of living out our faith and loving others for God's glory. God asked us to do this, and we could not do it. And so while we absolutely anticipate the arrival of this child to be a part of our family, and they will be our baby, and we will love them just like we love our girls, for us, it's a whole journey of obedience to God, and He is the one that we want to bring glory to, and it's not about us, and it's not about doing this because we want a certain kind of family. We're doing this because God asked us to, and that's all.